strength, wearing jersey number 12, Clint Chapman. At forward, a second-generation PBA player and member of the 2018 All-Defensive Guard from Angeles, Pampanga, number 9, Josh David. From Batangas City, also at guard, number 3, Gian Mamuya.
Now he's got David there in the starting lineup together with Manaytay.
Well, Mark Baroka getting a hold of that leather. First,
Rolls to the basket, still on the outside. Lastimosa might have to take this one. De La Rosa gets away for 2.
so trying to find where the mismatch is.
And the speed here of Rain or Shine. De La Rosa kicks it out. Once again, they go to Chapman. Chapman will try to bring it closer. His floater works. Jalen tries to spin
That's
and
tough.
gets away for 2.
That's a very skillful post move right there coming from Jalen Johnson for the first 2 points.
Manaytay. We'll try to look inside. Perfect pass. Jalen Johnson. Power move. He's got all the 4 points here of the Elasto Painters.
You still remember those old coaches. Don't jump, just locate and block out before going for the jump.
Textbook, they say. Lastimosa puts up a 3.
Lemetti will have a follow-up checkup in 2 weeks to assess when he can return. Gentlemen.
Thanks a lot, Bell. That's a big loss because Lemetti has finally found his footing here in the PBA.
Well, you know, he's been playing splendid basketball.
It's going to be number 2 on Chapman.
And we're just in our early part of this first quarter, 7:52. And now you suffer an ACL injury in practice.
Chapman, once again, look at that. Basic basketball.
City calling himself out for missing shots he would usually make. On top of that, he also had 6 turnovers, which he associates to him thinking too much and wanting to attack too fast, considering how frustration was already part of the mix.
Kicks it out. Baroka. Lucero will put up a 3 and hit.
So that's the thing that we were talking about now. When you give him space, he's going to be taking it. Remember, it's 6-7.
Down to 6. Lucero denied. Baroka puts it up and hits.
They're going to be checking that one. They're going to be checking that one. The block, just knowing the time, there was the attempt, and there it is. Very clear.
Let's go back to Bell.
Boy, Mark Baroka, how old he is, he'll first laugh and say he feels forever at 21. But kidding aside, as he turns 40 today, he is...
Coach Alan Gregorio there for that one.
Well, we're going to be starting in Casobe, you know? That's going to be in Calatagan, South Beach. And that will happen on the 29th.
Here comes Roque. Little nudge to the wing. Extra pass. Asisio says, welcome. Back to Paul. That's a quick move. Alfaro with a jumper. Yes.
And that's a dangerous defense right there. It was almost a switch, but nobody wanting to get Peter Alfaro for the jumper.
Both very smooth. Inside Verano. That time his left-handed shot works.
Well, he wanted to do that same kind of a shot just a while ago. First 2 points for Rafi. Who would you put in? Another 6'4" guy who's going to be defending. And that's Javi Gomez de Leano.
One of your guys. Villegas sneaks in and gets away for 2.
Are we going to be expecting some new players for Coach Yan? As we see, you know, a dominance inside the paint coming from Chapman here in the second quarter.
Lethal weapon gives it up to Lucero. That's a great spin. He knew where it was going to go and put it through.
He just knew it. That's a very special talent. That is a nose for the ball.
Santi finds Mamuyak. Mamuyak with a straight line drive, elevates and scores.
Oh, you know, he's not going to stop.
De La Rosa is going to deliver a point. This is now the biggest lead in the ball game at 12. Hotshots looking good early on. Inside, Jalen Johnson says, I can get it from the outside. Let's go inside. And now they might try to get a heavy dose of Jalen.
Yeah, this might be a good time for him to really take care of hostilities for Rainer Shine at this point.
And he's now starting to talk to Xavier Lucero. Referees looking closely at that one. Final 2 minutes of the first half. Lastimosa looking for space. Step back three. Yes! Kuahao sidestep. Finds Santillan. Falling away. Santi is going to get the roll.
Here to end the second quarter for Magnolia Chicken Templado Hotshots.
Will they look for it? Lastimosa does. Puts up a long one, a little bit too strong. Mamuya goes inside. Basket and one opportunity there for Mamu.
That's just very, very tight. How he was able to make that finish on that early break. There's no more, you know, he's no longer looking for his open teammates. I'm going to be attacking the defense of Jerome.
Trying to take advantage of Clarito there. Nice baby hook works.
You know, that's a very good matchup, huh?
5-point lead enjoyed here. Nocom tries to get away, goes inside. Johnson, easy conversion inside.
So their own version of a high-low play, a penetration, and then going to his big man, Jalen Johnson. That's going to be the 12th point for the import of Rainer Shine.
He's going to need to start heating up. Getting away inside is Lastimosa.
Now, I don't know if David is looking for help side defense, actually.
And his incursions inside. Lucero will stop, pop and hit.
And that is part of the secondary break. You can go to your import, wait for the other big man.
He also pointed out how just making 3 3-pointers in the first half is not an excuse to not shoot them with confidence once the opportunity presents itself. Coach Yang wants to take advantage of Chapman being in foul trouble by involving Jalen more in offense. But they are concerned about Rainer Shine's 7 fast break points from the first half, fueled by Magnolia's turnovers. Transition defense.
Chongson kicks it out. Jalen for 3, bang!
10 points here in the first.
Trying to push. Clarito inside, yes!
And that lean-in shot from Jonard Clarito. You know, do you remember those days when it was Arnie Tuadles doing those kinds of shots?
Correct.
Actually, you know, for those who have been watching the PBA, the late Arnie Tuadles loved that kind of a shot.
Brings back those days. And Barroca says, this is what I used to do ever since I came into the league. Johnson getting his squad another possession. Sets that pick. Mamuyak inside, flips it up, and it drops.
And how hard are those shots taken by Gian Mamuyak?
Let's find a better shot. Lastimosa open. Will misfire. Here comes Clarito. Mamuyak. Basket and one opportunity there. Another foul on Barroca.
Dylan Johnson to go for 2 points. But here on the other side, nice little sidestep, even with a challenge of Xavier Lucero and one for Mamu.
Lucero, quick attack. Pass a little too sharp there for Sangalang, but Sangalang says, it doesn't matter. I'm going to score anyway.
Well, you know, that one step to gain the advantage and then using his left hand, quick release for Ian Sangalang. He's been doing that for the longest time.
Here comes Clarito, up against Paul Lee. Not good spacing there by Rainer Shine. Clarito gets away for 2. Here's Mamuyak again in the open court. He will challenge, and he will score once again.
That's going to be the 15th point right now. He can take on.
This looked like 1 against 5, Coach. Watch it here.
Well, the defense was not established. That is the right thing to do. Sometimes you feel like, okay, we just have...
Chapman will get the roll. Asking for a foul, none given. That's going to cut the lead down to 2. Adrian Nocom also struggling here today.
Now, that was...
Javi back in the ball game. He has played sparingly today. Nice move there by Chapman. Taking advantage of the defense there on the local. 4, no. Chapman now starting to assert himself.
Preached focusing on making stops and making sure that they sprint back right away. For Coach Yang, defensive assignment was the focus. Telling his men, kilalanin nyo yung binabantayan nyo because of the many open opportunities they've granted Magnolia's shooters.
7 and 50, it's just 1-point lead for Chicken Templado Hotshots.
This is essentially the closing lineup here. Mamuyak gets away for 2.
And where
that steal.
did that start? Gian Mamuyak reading the passing lane, knowing how to get that steal on that ball reversal of the blue shirts, and then that pass from Jalen Johnson.
That was a perfect pass, getting just around the defender. Barroca back on the floor. Another steal. Looking for Adrian. Touchdown.
Because rain or shine, it's making a big run right here. All of a sudden on top by 3 points. 70. Those are local numbers. Those are not import numbers, but because with the defense being played against each other. Now look at this. Was that a forced shot over the outstretched arms of Jalen Johnson?
Knockum for 3. Wow, what a time for him to find his range.
And this was the thing that we were saying. You know, he's just waiting for a perfect opportunity for him to be able to score and get his bearings back in this ball game.
5 points now for Adrian here in the 4th. Lastimosa answers from deep.
And that is how dangerous Jerome Lastimosa is. He's not going to hesitate in taking those big shots. Still rain or shine, 70-73.
That's too easy there for Jalen.
Tight, very tight pass. There was no easy seal on the part of Sangalang because of the defense of the white shirts.
Mamuyak once again finds Clarito for 2.
And he was up in the air. He still finds open men, gives it up, does not force the shot. Rain or shine now on top by 7 points. 5 and 17 remaining here in this ball game.
The momentum has totally swung their way. Another tight pass. Inside, Xavier gets away.
Again, that's just the talent of Xavier Lucero. Takes the shot, but he's got a second lip that he'll be able to get that leather for the putback.
Final 5 minutes of this one. We promised you an interesting matchup. Johnson kicks it out. Knockum for 3.
Oh,
Back-to-back
wow.
threes here for Adrian. Lucero hits the deck. Here's Lastimosa. They go inside Sangalang for 2.
This is not yet over. This is just a 2-possession ball game. Plenty of time remaining.
Barroca. Where do they go? They go to Sangalang.
That's going to be an end one. Ian Sangalang, that's very basic big man move. Bonus free throw for Ian.
Villegas in. Chongson hobbled to the bench. Mamuyak inside. Gets stopped. Still a 4-point advantage by the Elasto Painters. That's not a good pass. Clarito up and under. Let's watch this play. Coach Yang Giao can't believe there was no foul.
I'd like to see this. But on defense,
they get it to Jalen. Jalen will attack. Big slam there for Jalen Johnson. Wow.
Johnson, and then that shimmy one more time, Anthony.
Switching defense being shown here by the Elasto Painters. Barroca with a floater, yes.
The birthday boy saving the day for them.
We're gonna look for some fours. Lucero denied there by Clarito.